What's up, family? Welcome back to Patient X Holistic Healing, where we discuss the mental, physical, and spiritual aspects of healing, right? Today's video, we're going to talk about discipline, right? The three pillars. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Professor X. I will be your healing coach and spiritual teacher today. So what is discipline, right? We got to start from the basics. What even is discipline? Everybody thinks they know, but they don't really know. Discipline, above all else, if I could sum it up in one sentence, is the highest form of self-love. If you really want to stay true to your discipline, that's how you're going to have to see it. You can't see it as a chore or that thing that you got to do. No, discipline is you serving yourself in the highest way possible. In my personal experience, there are tiers of love in life, right? Most people put the love of a significant other or sexual love, they put that higher than anything else when it comes to love. And I'm here to tell you today that is not accurate. Above all else, the main type of love that you need in this world is discipline. When you go beyond this world, there are higher forms of love that will be more useful in the different environments that you will be in. You know, when we talk about the spirit realm, or we talk about different heavenly realms. But on earth, your best friend will be discipline. Trust me. Anything after discipline, you could structure however you want to. Me personally, I would say just off the top, it's like discipline, like empathy or understanding, and then love from a significant other. It could be non-sexual too. With that being said, let's get right into these pillars, right? Number one, on my first pillar, and I'm looking at my notes. You feel me? I write notes on every video. The first pillar is why, right? If you don't know why you're being disciplined or why discipline will help you in a certain area of your life, you will not be able to stick with it. And to be honest, you shouldn't even see discipline as something that you should stick with. Discipline should become so integrated to your personality and being that it sticks to you, and I'm gonna get to that a little more later in the next pillars. But until we get there, just know that discipline is not something that you stick with. Discipline is something that you are. The biggest subcategory of why is honesty, right? You need to be able to be fully honest with yourself and know what it will take to get to your goal, or know enough information about yourself to know, or know enough information about yourself to know who you are and why this discipline is useful to somebody like you. Me personally, sometimes I don't really know exactly what it's going to take to hit my goals, because I have such lofty goals. So I just aim hella high, and I'll do that so that, if I miss, I'll still end up around my goal. Like what they say, shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. Or like J. Cole said, if you believe in God, if you don't aim too high, then you aim too low, right? He said that in a song. Forgot what song it was. January 28th. But that's really the way I move in life. Like if I feel like I gotta get to level 10, I'm gonna try and hit level 12, just so I know I'm gonna hit level 10. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I aim for level 12 and I hit level 7. And I just gotta take that shit to the chin and move on, And that's getting into the next pillar, which is resilience, right? You got to be able to take them, bro, because life, the universe, people, whatever, is going to knock you up. You got to be able to do infinite many repetitions, undergo the most tedious of circumstances, and just be cool with the mundane. Like a lot of this discipline stuff is just the mundane, and you got to just be sitting there, experiencing it. And that's actually one of the ones I'm working on right now, is being fully present and aware in my environment and my bodily and energetic selves. I'm very big on the no mind movement right now. So I'm practicing not thinking as much, more feeling and just knowing what to do without having an internal monologue for every little thing. Cause I'm the type of guy, I'm real quiet in real life, but in my mind, I'm like about nothing, So that's one of my disciplines right now, and I'm noticing it's super mundane. Like a lot of times I'm just You know, like it just is what it is. And you also have to be adaptable, especially when it comes to certain food goals you might have or exercise goals you might have. Like, you're not always going to be in the right environment or the most ideal environment to practice your discipline, but you got to do it anyway. This goes back to the honesty portion. Like, you have to be able to make quick judgment calls and be honest with yourself and find a suitable replacement for what your normal discipline is. One of my biggest disciplines is eating from home. I have food at home. I like to cook. I don't need to be eating out. But sometimes my schedule is so busy that it's like I might forget to cook or I might just not have the time to cook. So I have to know where to get suitable food that will nourish my body, right? And I have a lot of dietary needs. I eat straight organic and I'm plant-based. So I need to know all of the plant-based spots in my area that make genuine whole foods. There's 2 spots that I go to right now. One is called Organic Roots. They have a whole hot bar where they have actual chefs chefing it up. And there's another place called Barron's. Barron's is a little but they got this lentil soup I be rocking with, right? I don't think it's organic, but sometimes if I'm in a rush, I just be like, whatever. Now, the purpose of me having those suitable replacements is not so that I could use them as a crutch. It's really just last minute, and I try my hardest not to rely on those for sustenance because, like I said, I have food at home. You gotta be that same way where it's like if you need to get in the gym today but you're on the move, you need to have some calisthenics going where you don't need any gym equipment or something. Like, you need to have that type of mindset where you're just gonna get it how you get it, right? Adaptability. Going back to the concept of discipline is not something that you have to do, it's something that you are. Discipline is not about never folding, You're gonna fold. Like, that's just most basic of basics. As far as discipline, you're gonna fold. And you can't lose yourself. You can't just be like, oh, I fumbled, so now I'm just gonna go freak it and do whatever. Like, you gotta be able to snap back into it, you feel me, on a dime. And that's true discipline. But usually when I do that, it gives me strength to go right back to my discipline and be hard and hard and hard on it, I don't, fall back and then be like, oh shit, fuck, I'm just gonna keep falling cause fuck it, I fucked up. Like, I don't do that. And you shouldn't do that either. True discipline is not never folding. True discipline is a continuous effort over a long period of time. Like, a lot of times I'll be in the moment and I'm like, damn, like, my discipline not getting me where I want it to be, or, I'm not doing enough. But then I'll zoom out and I'll see the whole trend. Every time, like, I see a graph in my head, a literal graph. And every time I see the graph, it always looks like exponential growth. Because I know that over the course of years and years and years of me doing my discipline, I have been receiving good fruits from my labor. A lot of times you're not going to be where you thought you would be off some discipline. And that's okay. Sometimes we make little agreements with ourselves and be like, okay, if I do this for 12 months, this is going to happen. And the universe is looking like, yeah. Yeah. But in reality, like, we made that agreement with ourselves. We're making agreements that are trying to pull on the forces of reality and of nature to come to our aid. And although that is something that I highly recommend, I don't recommend getting set in those beliefs. We might truly believe something is going to happen because we said it's going to happen. And that's a good mentality to have, but you also can't let it make you spiral out if it doesn't happen. And a lot of times it doesn't happen to protect us anyway. Sometimes we just needed the discipline, but that thing that we wanted to get through that discipline, it might just not be for us right now. The time is a very integral part of discipline. And to be honest, that's like the invisible pillar, right? I'm gonna mark that. That's the 4th invisible pillar. But next we're gonna move on to faith, right? Faith and love. These 2 are intertwined. They could be separate pillars if you want, but I wanted to keep it 3 pillars. But love is the foundation of faith, right? Love is the foundation of discipline. Like I told you in the beginning, discipline in its highest form is self-love. You shouldn't want to do something because you feel like you're not enough or you feel like it's gonna get you somewhere superficial, like that shit will never last and you will not be able to stick with it. I promise. The biggest way to stay on a discipline is to love yourself and do it because you love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not vegan because I feel like, oh, if I'm not vegan, I'm gonna get sick or I'm gonna hurt the animals. Like, I'm vegan because that's just what I like to do. I tried it out and I like the shit now. I love being vegan. And that's just how I want to live my life. I don't go to school because, I want to get the best job and I want to have the perfect life. Although these are things that I constantly think about. I'm not going to lie. The main reason why I go to school is because I like to fucking learn. And when I wasn't in school, I was still learning stuff. So faith is a very big aspect. Faith and love. You have to know that whatever you're trying to get out of your discipline, that you're going to get. And I know that kind of contradicts with the statements that I made a little bit earlier, but time is a big aspect. Like I said, like I know for sure, for a fact, whatever I want out of my discipline, I'm going to get it. I don't know when, and whenever I think I'm going to get it, I might not, but I accept that. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't get it how I thought I would, that just inspires me to keep going, Sometimes it does get hard. Like sometimes I'll just be sitting there like, damn, like, I thought I would really have this, or I thought, blah, blah, blah. But thinking is where we get fucked up in the first place. Like I told you, I'm trying to be on the no mind shit right now. Overthinking these blessings and the discipline is going to get you off the discipline. Discipline is very simple. It's literally just do it or don't do it. Another aspect of faith is loving your failures, right? This goes under the love part. If you don't love the fact that you folded, you're not gonna make it because like I told you, you're gonna fold. And me, when I fold, I just be like, it is what it is. The next day, I be like, damn, probably shouldn't have did that, but who cares? Every day after that, I think about it less and less. Like, honestly, after the first day, I stopped caring. And I do want to make it clear that not caring is different than loving. But for me personally, not necessarily for you. Everybody has their own method. But for me, having a sort of detachment allows me to love something in the long run. Like to me right now, I might have fucked up, but I don't really care like that. That's just a defense mechanism at the end of the day. But it allows me to not be obsessive so that, in a week I'd be like laughing at it. I'm like, damn, I did that shit last week. Ha ha, So you gotta find ways to love everything about what you do. The last thing about faith I want to say is have faith that the blessings and fruits that you will receive from whatever discipline you're getting is greater than whatever you could possibly imagine. I have that really dear to my heart. A lot of times, like I said, out of protection from the higher powers of reality, we might not get something the way we thought we would get it, or we might not get it at all. But that's just protecting us from that so that we could have something way greater. I've experienced that a lot in life, really a lot. Especially when it comes to being around certain people or in certain social circles, even with a woman or a man or anything that involves something outside of yourself, something you can't control. Sometimes I might not get that job, or that person I thought I was going to be like this with, they stop fucking with me. And you got to be able to take that to the chin. Like I said, like honestly, I don't even take it to the chin no more. I just be like, because I just watch it pass right by me. It's not like I don't get hit by these petty things anymore. And I'm not saying I'm impervious. Everybody gets hit. Like I said, you will get got. You will fold. It happens to everybody. But best thing that you can do is control the way you're affected by things. That's like a big proverb in life too. Like you can't control everybody else or anything outside of yourself, but one thing you can truly control is yourself and the way you react to things. I hold that dear to my heart as well. But with that, I want to repeat the 3 pillars, right? We got why, you got to know why. You got resilience, and then we have faith and love. Real quick, I'm going to show you which aspects of the pillars align with the different aspects of your being, right? The why off rip. That's going to come from some type of physical factors outside of yourself. That's more of a bodily thing. But if you want to go deeper into why, the more connection you have to your spirit and your higher power, the why will come from that. It'll come from God, right? Then we get the resilience, right? The resilience is more of a mental faculty, to be honest. It's spiritual and physical as well. But your mind is the thing that's really getting hammered when it comes to resilience. You're overthinking and you're like, damn, like I had to keep doing this shit. Some disciplines are more physical, like working out and everything, but working out is more mental than physical for me, at least. It might be different for you. But then we got the faith, right? The faith is purely spiritual, or it could be physical or mental as well. If you just know certain things are gonna happen, like, you know, I know my arms are gonna get buff if I lift that curl every day. You know what I'm saying? That's a physical faith. I know that. But as far as bigger picture goes, you need that faith in God. You need that faith in your future. You need that faith in your higher self, right? But with that, I'm gonna end it. That was a very necessary component. That's why this is a health as well as consciousness channel, because the only way that you can heal is through consciousness. That's the only way. Healing starts in the spirit, and then it manifests in the mind, and then it manifests in the body. So if you want to heal any physical ailment, you have to start in the spirit and the mind. And discipline is a faculty of the soul. It's a faculty of your mind. Hopefully y'all learn from this video, man. Hopefully you could share with somebody who you know needs this word. Please leave a comment below if you want to add anything to the conversation. Hype up the video as well if you know you want to boost me in the algorithm. And please, please like and subscribe, because that's for sure what's gonna get this word out. And last but not least, I wish y'all much love and blessings. My name is Professor X, and this has been Patient X Holistic Healing. Peace.